Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I am joined once again today by my friend, retired Master Sergeant John Keene. You're the Morphe's NFA expert.
Yes.
And we have a couple of NFA items right here. I thought this would be a fun opportunity to do another episode of, you can only pick one. And this is just such a perfect pair because that's a G1 and that's a G3. The German adopted FAL and the German adopted HK, SETME, frankly.
Yeah,
German,
pretty much what it is.
Yeah, iteration of the SETME. So the question is, if you could only take one of these, which one would you take? And this is for military purposes, for using as a soldier, not as a collector, not for resale.
So it's a which one, and Ian and I didn't have any conversation ahead of time about this because Ian didn't want to prejudice.
No, I think it's more interesting to just do this sort of thing cold than to discuss it beforehand.
Since you couched it in terms of a soldier's pick, I'm going to do something which you're going to chide me about later. I'm going to pick the one in front of you.
Ah, okay.
as a soldier's pick.
Okay, why?
Because it's a lighter gun.
Okay.
Essentially, these guns are both excellent battle rifles.
They both have extensive service records with a great number of militaries.
And so, given the choice between two that are both excellent guns, although I see advantages in this one, the lighter carrying of this one, I think is going to edge it over for me.
So I was looking at these, and I'm actually leaning towards the FAL.
I'm really glad of that because it's better if we both kind of have our own favorite and we aren't on the same one.
When it works out that way, yes.
And it has always worked out that way so far.
So the thing for me, part of this is I'm left-handed, and the FAL is more of a left-handed friendly rifle than the G3, basically because of the charging handle. Now the FAL's not perfect. The selector on the FAL does just barely sit under my knuckle with a firing grip. And it's possible for me to bump the selector out of safe, or out of firing, just up into the safe position. Doesn't happen a lot, and I can avoid it, and I think it's less of an issue than dealing with the left-handed charging on the G3.
Originally, I will say, I was leaning towards this one until you sat down and said, all right, here's the qualification as a soldier's weapon, because I find this one to be a little bit, for me, a little bit more intuitive when it comes to cocking back.
Yeah.
Because I would have to reach quite so far forward or have that slip out of my hand.
Yeah.
Which it has done, I will say, upon occasion.
The other thing that I like about the FAL is that it is a more universal rifle. It's a more modular rifle, at least if we compare these two setups here. So the FAL here has a bipod on it, has carry handle on it, which is, give or take, carry handle, but it's also set up for muzzle devices. If you want to launch rifle grenades, easy to do it off of FAL. That said, if we switch this away from a military context into more towards the civilian context in the US today, the G3 is actually the more modular one. There's a lot more aftermarket stuff you can do with the G3 than a FAL.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, take your trigger pack, take your buttstock or shoulder or nothing arrangement. Although I'll tell you, I don't like standing on the range next to an HK-51.
Oh God,
on the auto. I'm like, it's like, it puts me right back into Iraq when you hear the Russian stuff, and there is nothing Russian that isn't loud and disconcerting when it's shooting nearby. And I challenge you to find, unless it's one of those purposely built underwater shooting guns or something like that, or, it's like, man, oh man. They have to make them that way.
I remember when we took that thing out and shot it. That was not really even very pleasant to be behind, much less next to.
But incredibly impressive to see.
Like the least convenient place, the least comfortable place is being in front of it.
Oh my word, yes, yes indeed.
It's the auto flashbang.
At night, I go out to the big sandy range. We have those night shoots, and I'm standing by, and a friend is shooting one of those, and I'm video recording the thing. And you see this boom, these flashes as they come. You can see everything because they light up the whole firing line. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
So, to me, and there's an element of this that is almost AK versus AR-ish, where the FAL here is a gun that requires a little more user knowledge. We have an adjustable gas system. You have bits and pieces that you can fiddle with and change, where the G3 is more of a just point and shoot.
And again, soldiers.
Yeah. I would say the G3 is probably the more durable design in really poor, really harsh conditions. The roller delay is a really good, simple mechanism that has a really good track record. I think it's easier to get a FAL out of whack than it is a G3. And there's just nothing to go wrong. Like, I can't misadjust my roller delay system. I can't. You can get ammo that maybe won't work, but I think you've got a wider tolerance of ammo in the G3.
And the very benefit of having the adjustable gas port also gives you the opportunity to get something wrong.
Right.
You put it in between two.
If you can set it right, you can also set it wrong.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see situations where I would pick the G3, but if I had to pick one of these rifles and not know where I was, open situation, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing with it, I think I would probably lean towards the FAL.
It's an interesting question, and it just occurred to me to say, if you're going, and this comes out of our previous videos, if you're going to be a soldier and you're going to put this on your shoulder, and it's never going to be more than an arm's length away for you for 15 months, regardless of where you are and what you're doing, that could alter the conversation.
Okay.
That could alter the conversation, as opposed to say, okay, I'm going and it's going to be in a rack part of the time, and I'm going to take it out and I'm going to use it, I'm going to put it back, and I'm going to have opportunities to clean it in a sterile environment, as opposed to being out on an extended patrol, or as we said in the previous video, what if I'm on one of these terrible climate Pacific islands where this won't last very long, because anything that's wood or leather, the things they are going to say yum yum, and they're going to get eaten, and that is the way it is. Read some books about the veterans in the Second World War in the Pacific Theater, and the mold, the mildew, the stuff, it's eating the clothing right off of them.
Yeah.
And these guys weren't lying. I mean, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
So both great rifles, and I wouldn't kick either one of them out, to coin a phrase.
No, they're both good. I don't think there really is a wrong answer.
No.
Which makes it hard to pick a right answer.
But you've really covered it really well. I mean, you talk about the differences between the two. And the mere fact that this one is heavier can be a plus.
Potentially.
A little more substantial.
It's not much heavier. There's not a huge difference between these two.
Agreed.
So, well, tell us what you would think given this choice down in the comments. I'll be curious to see people's opinions. Because again, I don't think there's really a wrong answer to this.
And send in information to Ian about things you might think is a good comparison between two. And Ian's pretty good about responding to his leadership.
Yeah, let me know. And next time I'm here with John, we'll see if we can take some of your suggestions and debate the relative merits of another set of guns. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.